say your name and outlet when called on. Start here.
Joey with the Associated Press. You mentioned that you spoke with earlier. Can we talk a little bit about what was said, if she indicated whether she would be endorsing?
She will absolutely be endorsing us, and she will be fighting alongside us to make sure that we defeat Mike Rogers and win the future in November.
Questions? Looking for locals. Go here.
Signs with CNN. This was a very tight race, perhaps closer than you had hoped or expected, about 15,000 votes right now between you and Haley Stevens. Does the fact that this was such a tight race make it more difficult for the Democratic Party to unite and also reach out to those swing voters who might be looking and seeing, well, Democrats couldn't even agree on their candidate?
Well, I'd love to get others' perspective on this, but let me give you mine. You heard about the historic turnout. Sometimes, intra-family squabbles are the biggest ones. But we all know that when we walk out the house, we stand united. And sometimes we got to have it out about the conversation about who we are and who we want to be. And I think I'll tell you that the things that unite us are so much bigger than the things that divide us. If anything, when you've got 500,000 more voters who came out to be a part of a process to pick a nominee, that means that their voices have been heard. And we're going to build a movement that reaches out to everybody. I know not everybody's going to agree with me on everything. That's not how this works. But I do know that they agree with me on the need to beat Mike Rogers and the need to hold Donald Trump accountable and the need to provide people health care and the need to address the affordability crisis that is making it so that all of us struggle simply because we want to pump gas or go to the grocery store, and the need to stop fighting stupid wars we should never be fighting. There is so much more we agree on. So I'm looking forward to unifying together. The Congresswoman and I, the Senator and I, we've had some great conversations about where we go from here, and we cannot wait to come together and win in November.
Dr. El-Sayed, what do you see being your biggest challenge?
We're gonna let the chairman answer.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. As our future senator said, 1.5 million people showed up to vote in Michigan and the Democratic side. That is the largest, not only just in history, but it's also the largest gap in history between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So certainly all the energy is on our side. But I also want to say this. We hold a special responsibility as Democrats in Michigan, as Michiganders in general. Michigan looks like America. We are the most diverse battleground state in the country. And so we know what that responsibility is. And I can tell you what unites us. We as Democrats believe that every person should have access to health care. We as Democrats believe that we need to lower costs for families. We as Democrats believe that it is time that we focus our attention not on foreign wars of choice and that are raising gas prices for every person here and the price of groceries for every person here. We believe that it's time to focus on America first. They say it, we actually believe it. And finally, I will say to my fellow Democrats, if that is not enough, if everything that is happening in this country is not enough to unite, how about a Donald Trump supermajority on the Supreme Court that goes on for not just my generation, but my kids' generation as well? We have a responsibility to come together, and we will. We will unite to take this country back. I guarantee it. Thank you very much.
Islamophobia is going to ramp up in the general election. What is the best way to combat that? What is the plan to combat that over the next 3 months?
Russ, I really appreciate the question. You're right. That's the only play they got. They're going to point at me. They're going to point at my name. It's like, well, he's different. That's the best you got? You can't actually talk about what you want to do? My name is not raising your gas prices. My name is not taking us to war. My name is not the reason you can't afford your groceries. You know what it is? They're BS policies. So you can point to my name all he wants. But I'll also tell you this. I've been in Abdul in Michigan my whole life. This is like the best place in the world to be Abdul. You know why? Because Michiganders they're big-hearted. They're open-minded. They're earnest, and they're gritty. And Michiganders are sick and tired of BS politics coming in to divide us when there's so much more we can unite to actually guarantee if we're willing to come together around it. So if all Mike Rogers got is that his name is Abdul and my name is Mike, you're going to be surprised how many people will be like, yeah, but that's the Abdul who wants to bring down the price of my groceries and gas and stop us sending money abroad and make sure that I got health care. So yeah, I like that Abdul over your Mike from Florida.
Doctor, thank you. Ed O'Keefe from CBS. You talked about, or you addressed Jewish voters in the state and the concerns they may have. You were asked about Islamophobia. You know that the Republicans and others will seize on one other thing, and that is things you've said in the past. One of them back in April, after the attack on the synagogue here in Michigan. You gave a statement about what had happened, and among other things, and this is what's being seized on, you said, hurt people, hurt people. And it's that part of your statement that has caused a lot of concern for Jewish voters. Republicans are going to seize on it. What did you mean? Do you regret saying?
What I mean is that hurt people hurt people. That maybe if we're serious about ending the hurt, we should stop hurting people. That's what I mean. I condemned the attack. It was a vile anti-Semitic attack. And I think it's important for us to be asking the big picture question about what's happening now. You've got a Republican Party that is morally bankrupt, that is actively hurting people. And I think if we're serious about addressing a lot of the crises as they stand, maybe stop trying to divide people from each other. Stop trying to pass policies that have us going to war instead of investing here. Stop trying to nickel and dime people at every turn because of the corporations you support and do favors for. And so, look, I stand in solidarity with my Jewish sisters and brothers. And we can condemn anti-Semitism, and at the same time, we can be talking about how we bring people together. And we can be talking about everybody's pain. And I think anybody who does not want to do that is not serious about actually addressing the hurt that we see across the board. So I'm trying to unify people around the things that we need and deserve in this country. And as I said, my commitment to Jewish safety is the same as I've got a commitment to my own kids. And that's the highest commitment I can offer as a father.
And when the Attorney
All right.
General...
Thank you, press. We're going to wrap there.
Thank you.